Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Ordinary people doing extremely ordinary things. It's the Audience of One show on Conroe's 106.1 and 104.5 FM, streaming on irlonestar.com and available wherever you get your podcast from. I am Andrew, riding shotgun next to the guy who's been noticing a lot of butt cracks lately. It's Dick. I'm really good at confusing people.
It's so funny. Last week's show
was a gym.
Well, now I'm, because I okay, back it up a little bit. Sorry about that. So I have been looking for jeans because I've had the same pair of jeans since, I would say, college or a little bit before college.
Good grief.
And I was like, you know what?
That's actually impressive.
Well, because I started thinking about it because I went bowling. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I feel like my jeans are getting too loose. Maybe my butt crack is showing like we were just talking about. And so I was like, of course I go home, I'm looking, and I'm like, yeah, these jeans are kind of old. Like, you can tell they're not as tight as they used to be. And I'm not saying anything about my weight or anything like that, but it's more of like, how like...
They're just worn out.
They're just worn out, and they don't, it's basically I'm sagging now. And I don't think it's because of the weight.
Getting 20 years out of a pair of jeans is pretty impressive, Dick. I have to admit. It's pretty good.
What's great...
Maybe not 20 years, however.
Is they're all Wranglers from Walmart.
Yeah, that's what you've said.
So
you're a Walmart Wrangler kind of guy.
So I'm going to... But I started looking at... I went online, and I was like, how do you prevent butt crack?
I wonder what the Venn diagram looks like of people who drive cyber trucks, but also wear Wrangler jeans from Walmart. It's going to be. I bet you're the only one.
Yeah. Well, no, the world of jeans is insane to me.
Yes, they range
so many,
widely.
Yeah, and I was like, "Where's the butt crack one?" There's one that says like, "Hey, this is a higher back end, so if the pants get a little saggy, they don't show the butt crack."
That's right. Got acid wash.
Yeah.
Diamond cut.
No, I'm not talking about like
Juicy
the colors.
couture.
I'm talking about the fits.
Oh yeah, that too.
So they have different fits for guys because
of course
we have junk and
skinny, and you have regular wide leg boot cut.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I don't know.
That
might be it. I don't know.
But yeah, I figured you'd enjoy that. I was like, now I'm consciously thinking about it. Like when I'm shopping for clothes, what will not show my butt crack?
Speaking of clothes, we got a little bit of show cleanup here. Last week we talked about some of the slang terms that were popular through the decades. You wanted to quickly get to the modern ones, and one of the ones you said was your favorite was the Barney bag. And both of us agreed that we didn't know what that was, and we used the term freely. We thought maybe it had something to do with the purple dinosaur, or even perhaps something to do with a retailer. I'm here to report we were both horribly wrong.
Well, yeah.
A Barney bag refers to a bag that one might put over one's head while having a relationship of the sexual kind with someone who is unattractive.
I mean, the one thing I love about that list we were talking about, because we went through several decades, and it got me thinking about this decade, 2020 through 2020.
9?
I guess that would,
yes.
Whatever. I don't know I forget what the rules of the list were. And I was like, I wonder what words would be now. And I know for sure.
Sus.
Number one would be woke.
Yeah, woke and sus and all those. Those are words that are
woke would definitely be on the list. Is there any other words you can think of right now that would be on the list?
Cap. No cap. Meaning not going to lie. Mid. Yeah, it's mid. Meh.
I don't know
stuff
cap
like
is.
That.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, no lie. That means no lie.
Well, hon, use that in a sentence then.
Man, I'm not cool enough to use it in a sentence. It would be something like... Mom, I cleaned my room, no cap. I'm not lying. I'm guessing.
See, like
right now, there's a lot of people cringing.
Yeah. Because woke to me is like definitely a slang term because it kind of encompasses a lot of different things, but like you understand what I mean by it when I say
it's so pretty much into popular culture now. Whereas cap, that's kind of the young kids term.
But, it reminds me of woke. Yesterday, I was at the alley and I looked up at the TV and there was some ad for some guy running for governor of Texas, and he goes, running against the woke agenda. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that could be anything.
And that's the beauty of it.
But that's the beauty. But he put it in quotes. That's what I loved on the ad. Like he's like,
definitely targeting a certain audience. The interesting thing about the Barney bag, to get back to what I was saying, is it's not a bag that you would put on somebody else. The idea behind it is you put it on yourself, such that you don't run the risk of it falling off. Thank you, UrbanDictionary.com for that.
And I think that's very important to clarify that, because I know that's an ongoing joke when you're telling your buddies, like, oh yeah, I should put a paper bag
exactly.
Head,
so a Barney bag refers
for
to
you,
for you,
for you guys. This is but that's so funny, man. Did you have a good weekend and everything?
It was amazing. I had such a good weekend. We're doing a dance contest for my daughter, so the weekends here this time of year are pretty much booked up solid with that. So that's a lot
cool,
of fun, man.
I made sausage.
Awesome. I love sausage.
Yeah, we made a lot of sausage, and it was fun. So
I on the way over here, I saw something that I hadn't seen in a while, and it got me thinking about something. I saw the guy at the busy intersection selling flowers.
Okay.
And I thought, I wonder how often they make a sale. One, have you ever bought flowers from a guy at an intersection before, or a woman? Sometimes it's a lady selling them.
Well, not out of my car.
That's where you would. That's where you would purchase it, though.
I purchased flowers from like a guy on the street who like walks up while you're having.
Slightly different. I guess I am more specifically referring to the intersection while you're in a car.
I wouldn't talk to anybody while I'm driving a car.
I wouldn't either.
I've actually hit the guy selling newspapers.
On purpose?
No, like he got, those people are risky, and he got into the lane, and my my mirror,
hit
was it rearview mirror?
Yeah, side mirror.
Side mirror, just nailed him. And I wasn't going fast. I was parked, and then I started driving, and he was like 4 cars ahead of me. And I guess he just wasn't paying attention, and I hit his elbow. And I'll never forget looking back. I was like, "What the hell was that?" And he's like, "Oh man!" And I'm like, "Shouldn't have been in the street."
But I've never bought flowers from anybody on the side of the street while in a vehicle. You obviously haven't either. And it made me wonder, though, like, how did they arrive at flowers? Why flowers, of all things?
Well, it's easy, and it's understandable, and it's like $1.
I guess so. But that makes me wonder, like, why did they decide on it? Is it just because it's easy? Why not something like lollipops or, I don't know, bottled water or soda or something?
I think the conversion rate. It's the conversion rate. Most guys who are driving are like, oh, I could just buy this flower and give it to my wife when I get home.
I guess, and it looks like I'm so thoughtful.
Yeah.
The thing is, they're perishable. So if those guys aren't selling out all of their inventory, they're wasting it.
That is what it is. Man.
Yeah, again,
plus it's
I don't
Valentine's
understand
Day,
it.
so they have their inventory. They're just trying to get it out.
That's also what I was thinking about, that this is a lot of leftover flowers from last week, so they were probably able to get a real good deal on it. Yeah, that was also my thinking.
So just a side note.
Yes.
A red flag now officially for me is if the woman likes flowers.
That's a red.
That's a red
Dick,
flag.
there's a real good chance she's going to like flowers.
I'm narrowing it down. Like, you like something that's perishable, waste of money.
I think you may want to rethink that one.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just trying to get out of as many situations where I have to buy something for somebody. As we know.
Wait, hold on. Last week you said you turned a new leaf. You were the gift guy. You were buying gifts for everybody. Now all of a sudden you're trying to get out of it. I can
still say I'm going to buy gifts for people, but now I'm creating the system where I can limit how, like, what am I buying? What do I have to do here? Like, I'm not buying perishable goods. Just not doing it. So a lot of times that might end up me not buying anything because the only thing available is perishable goods.
But
it's not my fault. I still want to buy you something.
Oh, right. But can't do it. You know, these tangled webs you weave and these rules you live by.
I'm not a bad guy, okay?
Gosh, the back bends you put yourself through to live an ordinary life, I tell you.
You know what I hope, because I know last week's episode was fun and we kind of ended it. Are we going to talk about gaslighting today?
We are. We are going to talk about gaslighting in the second half of the show.
We're going to talk about it right now.
Nope, second half. That's our radio market tease right there. Second half of the show.
I guess.
Yeah.
So I got to ask, though, you're very involved with your family, meaning like you do a lot of things that are out of your comfort zone, and you're doing these things.
I suppose, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, because when you were telling me you're doing these dance competitions, and so you go. This isn't something like you just.
Yeah, I'm not actually competing. Correct.
Well, no. So, like, to give you an idea, what I'm trying to talk about is you always have the parent who's the one that stops by, and you always have the parent who
is there all day,
is the transportation provider. Right. But like, I see you more as like you're there.
for the most part.
And so what I always envision is like the hilarity of that situation where realistically you're there to talk for maybe 20, 30 minutes tops, and then the rest of the time you're just kind of like,
yep,
what's going on here, guys? Like,
yep, you pretty much nailed it.
And
there's a lot of downtime in those things, unless you're watching other kids participate,
and that's weird too.
And that's weird too as well.
That's
That's exactly right.
So I mean that's why we have a phone today. I guess you just get on your phone and just do Sudoku or something like that.
Yeah, I stream old episodes of Audience of One. I binge them.
Like, so I was in a similar scenario with this, and I don't have children, but so at the time my ex was getting graduating, and so I had to be there early to do some stuff. But then I had like an hour, and we're at this gymnasium, and I remember walking around. And I just started walking around the school, and then I found
easily amused.
Well, it's just kind of like, oh, I've never been here. This is kind of cool. Like just walking around.
Until security picked you up.
Yeah.
And
So
threw your
somebody.
ass out,
Well,
right?
what I love about it is when the security did pick me up.
I knew it.
He's like, "Hey, we got a phone call of a suspicious person walking around campus," and I was like, I was just walking around. I'm waiting for this thing to start. Like I didn't want to just sit there.
That is so funny, Dick. Yes, of course you're going to look suspicious walking around a school campus like that. Also, probably why the police asked you what you were doing at the mall a couple of weeks ago when you were staring at the map. The police came up on you like, "What are you doing, sir?"
Well, I just have one of those faces, but it was really funny to me. I was just like, okay. And then what I love in my mind, I'm like, because he's on a golf cart, and I was like, Can I
ride your golf cart?
Can I get the ride back to the thing?
Hey, otherwise I'm just going to keep wandering around here and at least expedite the situation and give me a ride. That is pretty awesome. Wait, so did he give you a ride?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was just, I mean, it's just funny to me because I always see when I have situations like that where it's like, oh, you got like 45 minutes to kill. And it's like, well, man, I'm just going to walk around.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do. Hey, man, I heard you say on Cindy's show the other day that you have tickets for Dune 2.
Hell yeah.
You are excited. So when you attend this Dune 2 movie, are you going to get yourself a box of popcorn or a cup of popcorn?
No.
I think you might need to rethink that.
Talking about the cool thing that came out with the worm?
Yeah. So are you familiar with the new Dune 2 promotional popcorn topper?
Looks like a fleshlight.
Yeah, I think you need to show the onesies. I brought it up here in the run sheet. You can show the picture of it.
I know exactly what you're
but
talking about.
This is
I can't believe I said that word out loud. Now we were going to search for it. Barney bag.
Yep. Yeah, I know. And we were freely talking about that last week unknowingly. Well, at the release of the new Dune 2 movie, they have a promotional popcorn topper that goes on top of a popcorn. I guess it's like a cup, a large cup. And it's made to look like the sandworm from the movie, but most people are pretty much in agreement that this looks not like the sandworm and a lot like a tool that could be used for a nefarious act on yourself if one was so inclined. It's disturbing to say the least.
I'm gonna pull it up. I found it. All right.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, I saw this.
I'm trying to be delicate with this.
No,
I'm at a loss for words here.
There is a certain market for people who like collecting these kind of things, where it's like a certain movie is like, oh, this cup.
This is gonna really attract a certain type of person.
And I think, well, this is great. I think it's cool, but I'm not really a popcorn person. It depends on the theater I go to.
You will be now. Let me just say, it brings a whole new level to the term popcorn trick. Oh, there you got an ad pop up on you.
That's the websites you send me to.
I mean, it is called Polygon.com, whatever the heck that is.
But no,
but I think you need to reconsider and go ahead and get yourself one of these popcorn toppers that looks
I'll
like
see if it's available.
Yeah. Oh boy. Anyways, all right. Key the show music. Let's get this bad boy started. What? You don't want to start the show?
No, I want to talk about Gaslight. I have to wait a whole second.
All the way to the second half of the show, baby.
All right, music started.
Are you familiar with Build-A-Bear? Build-A-Bear in the mall. Have you done one of these before?
No.
No, I didn't think so, but I thought maybe you took one of your cousins or something, but maybe there was an off chance that you had done the whole process. Well, for those of you who aren't familiar with what Build-A-Bear is, they usually find them in a mall, and aimed at children, mostly I would say, but there's probably some young adults or whatever that like to do this too. And the idea here is you go by and you pick out the skin of your stuffed animal that you're interested in. It's really weird because they'll be like limp and They don't have any stuffing in them, so they look like they've been hit with a car several times. And then you go to this next step where someone who's working there will stick something up their backside and fluff them up full of fluff.
Like a fresh bear.
Yeah, it's a fresh bear. And what's interesting is they'll hand it to the kid and say, "Is that enough stuffing, or do you need more?" And the kid, "No, a little bit more stuffing, please." It kind of reminds me. It's like the childhood version of when you're at a restaurant and they bring you just a little bit of wine.
But you're also you're missing out that a bear to a child has always been iconic.
Yes, and this way you're
the first toy you lose that you remember, and you're like, I miss Teddy. You know, like
sure.
I cried on Teddy.
And I guess this way you got to kind of get to see the birthing process to a degree.
Makes it more important.
Yeah, and then you can actually add smells and things afterwards too. You put these little tablets in their head. Yes. Well, they got their backside opened up. You can get these little tablets that have different smells. So when they sew the bear back up, it smells like bubble gum.
The only
popcorn,
thing I remember being a lot of
whatever.
fun knowing about it is you can get like a voice in it.
Oh yeah, some of them can record a sang too.
So I was like, you could have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, yes, you could, and I'm sure that's been done before.
Yeah. What would you say in yours?
I love you. What else? What else would I say?
Let's see. What would I say to my child?
Yes, child. That's exactly what we're talking about. I don't know where you were going.
Well, no, you buy it for a child.
I figured you'd.
So the saying has to be for a child,
Exactly.
right?
I love you.
I would say just don't try to screw up. Screw up on purpose.
Stay off drugs, okay?
Okay. No, I wouldn't say anything because I don't love them.
Don't date until you're 30. What? You don't love them? Yeah, right.
That's why, no, that's exactly what I would do. It'd be white noise. So if they squeeze the bear, it's like, it's not saying anything. I was like, yeah, it is.
That's so creepy.
It's just white noise.
So creepy.
I think it'd be great.
Child is going to be terrified to sleep with this thing.
Or what you do, you get one for like your buddy's kid, and you put like that high pitched noise for dogs.
Yeah, the dog whistle.
The dog whistle noise or whatever. So when you give it to the kid and they find like everyone's gone from the party, oh look, your teddy bear said something, and the dog's like
going nuts after it.
That'd be a pretty good joke, right?
Yeah, it would. Well, Build-A-Bear has now outraged some because they have a new adult line with suggestive stuffed animals. And when I first read this headline, I thought maybe
I like this
it
one.
was it was for people who were furry or maybe furry curious. But no, as it turns out, it's just bears that I think they brought this out for Valentine's week or whatever.
Cool.
Yeah, and they're just bears in like the smoker's jacket. One looks like she's wearing a little nightie. It's not that big of a deal, I didn't think, but apparently it's suggestive and outraging. I don't know.
I mean, I can see it for the lady bear because that's kind of saying like all women who sleep wear two pieces. Like
yeah, she is kind of wearing something that looks like
a muumuu or something.
Yeah, looks like a bikini.
Which I
of
love
some sort.
muumuus, by the way, just for the public to know.
I know you do.
Future girl.
He told me that right before the air.
Muumuus.
He said, "Hey man, we're gonna start the show, but I want you to know something. I love muumuus."
I love muumuus.
Yeah, this is Build-A-Bear's new quote After Dark collection. Features suggestive stuffed animals, including Doc Love Lion. I guess that's the one there on the right.
Does that mean the
With
alcoholic
a Hugh
version?
Hefner-style robot. Yeah.
That's fun. I
yeah.
like it.
So, anyways, I just thought that was kind of funny, and I was not aware of that. I think they need to make them like life size, though, and then you can fit yourself inside of it.
Well, I mean, you gotta see that. What's interesting to me
Doesn't
is
need
that
stuffing. I'm stuffing it.
it clearly looks stuck doing it. So it can't. It's not like you move the arms like it's stuck pouring the champagne. So that makes me think like, can I get one of like Jason?
Oh, for the character from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. Well, that's not Jason. But
Which one is that?
that's Freddy Krueger.
That's Freddy Krueger. Yeah, Jason's from. Which one is that? Hellraiser.
No, Hellraiser is Pinhead.
That's right. He's got all the.
I'm
pins
gonna wait
coming
till
out
you
his
get this now. This is fun.
head. I'm not gonna get it. It's making.
But
me,
I think that'd be
annoying
cool.
me.
Get a chainsaw going and get like a baseball bat or something. And It's Friday the 13th.
That's it. I was gonna get there eventually. I think.
But yeah, I think that would be a really cool gift. To be like, look at this guy's blood all. And I can imagine. See, what I always like about Build-A-Bear too
Good God.
is this employee has to create it for you.
Yes.
So you can
So
imagine.
the whole process is weird.
Yeah, so you can imagine being like, I want a Jason bear. And so they're like, they put the white hockey mask, like, all right, now we got to spill the blood on him. And it's like, how much blood do you want? Like, just give me
More. Is that enough blood? Is that sufficient?
Can he hold
No.
a head? I want him to hold a head like he just chopped it off.
Well, that's going to be another $25.50, sir, because we have to remove the head from another
the
bear.
heart.
That's okay. I'll pay for it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a bear and a half.
Great ideas. You're welcome, Build-A-Bear.
Yeah, Build-A-Bear. Yeah, so run out for a limited time, I think, and
I
get
wonder
your
if they have a Shake That Bear
adult
version.
Shake That Bear.
That's another joke for the internet gurus out there.
Oh no,
It's really inappropriate.
okay.
So don't look it up.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I'm glad I don't know what that is. To be honest with you.
I'll tell you
off the air during the break. Dick, we have talked. Well, actually, last week. It was just last week you mentioned that you.
They have an epileptic bear. That'd be great. Shakes. And then you put a little tablet. Apparently you can put tablets in it, it foams. It's just like. But see, the whole purpose of his education, you teaching kids like, hey, what do you do when someone's having a seizure?
That's exactly what it is. They got a Heimlich bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a dominatrix one? Is that? See, that's what
That's what I thought these were going to
Yeah.
be. They weren't very mild. These were very tame. That's why I can't believe people were actually outraged by them. To be honest with you,
I mean,
it seemed pretty lame.
Oh, whatever.
I know. People get outraged over anything. Dick, last week you said that you prefer a.
Are we gonna go? Are we gonna go?
You and
build
I.
a bear? Oh
yes.
my.
See,
now
I'm giving
I'm
you
down.
some suggestions.
I'm down for this
because
I get to choose what yours is.
You're gift guy. Oh, and I get to
and
choose
you
yours.
Choose mine.
Oh, great.
And it's gonna be a reflection of how I see you. And that's what I'm gonna do. I wonder if you can put a stick up its butt. That's what I want to do.
Wait, that's how you see me with a stick up my butt?
Stick up your butt. I'm
Doubtful.
Kidding. I'm kidding. No, I think it'd be tight. I think we should do that. How much are they though? I have no idea.
They are not on the cheap side.
See, that's one thing. Sticker price or sticker shock or whatever it's called. I feel like that's what would happen when you go into that place.
They're probably anywhere from $25 to $45, depending on which. Yeah. Depending on which one you choose. Because you're paying for the whole process, too. It's not just the stuffed animal. Well, you got to pay the poor sap that has to cram the...
Lamb feather or like, what's the...
Down.
Down
feathers.
I can see that being worth it, I guess, but then someone complain about that. But
probably.
That's so
PETA.
funny.
PETA would be upset.
Well, yeah, I want bear fur in my bear.
The actual bear?
Actual bear fur. I want it made out of a bear. That would be scary.
Oh, I don't even know where we're going. Oh, yes.
That's another funny idea I just had. It's like the adult version of Build-A-Bear is you go hunting and you kill a bear.
Indeed.
It's like, welcome to Build-A-Bear for dudes or for hardcore Build-A-Bear. It's like you show this guy like shooting this bear. That's great. I wonder how much that would cost to shoot a bear.
I'm just letting you roll with this, man. I'm just letting you riff on this.
I'm excited.
You're very tickled with this.
I like it. I like this idea.
I had no idea it was going to be this entertained by it, but I'm glad.
Well, Build-A-Bear is a wild concept to me.
It is.
It really is. And then I thought the whole idea was to get creative with it. So I really do think we should go together. I think that would be hilarious.
Do a show from there.
Well, no, not necessarily, but
okay. Well, here I know at the end of the process, you get to name your bear too.
Or we could do a bear and call it the onesies.
Aww.
And we can see how we see our audience.
Aww.
And immediately I think, can we get fangs? Can we get fangs on there?
Our audience has fangs.
Yeah, I can see it. I want them to be ferocious.
Last week you talked about your type of building is a building that does not have any windows, which I thought in my mind is kind of like...
No. Not my type of building.
Okay,
I
clarify.
was saying, like, if you go to, like, a bar or a place and it doesn't have any windows,
sure,
you know you're in for a good time.
All right, well, this is a place you're definitely going to have a good time in because apparently bunker makers say business is booming.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah, and I guess I didn't realize that you could have bunkers made, and that there are people who specialize in bunkers. Yeah, see, that's how ignorant I am. You're like, yeah, of course, I'll look it up.
Well, see, what confuses me about it, though, is I actually had a similar conversation this weekend about basements. And I was like, I know we flood here in this area of Texas. That's why we really don't have basements. But, up north they have basements. I was like, I wish we had a basement.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Regardless if we know it's going to flood. Because I feel like that's the whole purpose of the basement is to put the stuff you don't really care about and that you replace. So you could turn your bunker into a basement or a basement into a bunker, right?
No, because these are sort of they go a little bit beyond what your normal home. Yeah, they're sealed up. There's no windows, of course, and of course they have their own systems for water and of course
I would just
the
live
waste.
in there.
Yeah, it looks pretty. Well,
now I just want to live in one.
Well, if you open up the link I sent in the run sheet, these have pictures of some of the more modern day bunkers, and they are really, really nice. They look really fancy, and of course, most of them are extremely expensive.
Yeah,
many of them are just starting at $200,000, but most of them go up to over $1 million.
Well, it's all about amenities,
Yeah, exactly, because it has filtration systems, generators, and tons of concrete that manufacturers say are necessary to endure a nuclear or chemical attack. And you can see some of those pictures. I mean, it does look pretty significant.
What theme would you choose?
Right. Build-A-Bear theme. That's what I would do. But there was an interesting fact in this article, and I'm struggling to find it now. But apparently there was in 2014, a 15-story condo was built inside a former missile silo in Kansas. They were able to sell out the 75 units, starting at $1.9 million and up. Would you want to live in an old missile silo?
Underground?
I'm guessing it has to be underground, right? I think that's the whole point of a bunker is it's underground, right? Can you have a bunker above ground that's still considered a bunker?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
You know we have one of those places here, right? Montgomery?
Yes. I actually have meant to talk about that before, but there is or maybe we did. I don't remember now.
Yeah.
But there is a bunker here in the Conroe area, and I forget who it was built by. It was built by.
Well, I think originally.
I think we did talk about it.
Yeah, I think originally it was a military thing, and then a private company bought it for servers, for like store their servers because it's climate controlled and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But apparently it's huge, and no, I mean bunkers are cool. Whatever, you got the money, do it. I don't see why not.
Yeah, they try and cater to doomsday preppers, obviously, and survivalists. But some of these here, it says the largest survival community on Earth, they're trying to sell some for as low as $45,000 to $100,000 to sort of appeal to a different audience that are not necessarily wealthy and or crazy at the same time. So
no, you gotta be a little crazy to want a bunker.
You think, and not just practical?
No, to me, if I had the money, I'd do a bunker for my man cave because I want a man cave.
I would just live in it.
Man cave would be on the list, by the way.
For
the slang terms.
Oh, man. Yeah, probably. Well,
Yeah,
that's already
100%.
out. I wouldn't say it's from 2020. That's probably from 2010, 2020.
That makes the list. But no, I think that would be awesome because that's like an experience. Like you want to go down here and be in the man cave.
Yeah, and I think the idea is you don't necessarily live in these. They just have the ability to be lived in. But at that price, I'm living in it, man. Yeah. I'm living in it. And you would be that bunker
Wouldn't that
guy.
be hilarious? Is like you buy one of those rundown shacks, and then you build like $1 million bunker under it.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you could. There's nothing stopping you.
I like it.
Dick, did you hear the story? Yeah, of course. Did you hear the story? This is pretty interesting. This is from NBC News, but it's all over the place. Of this woman that was on an international flight, I think from Amsterdam to Detroit, when maggots started falling from the overhead bin above her. Oh, what the heck? So if you're not familiar, Dick, with what a maggot is, they don't just appear. They usually are eating off the rotting flesh of other things, right?
I thought it was a private in the army.
No. Did I miss something to go over my head?
They always call them maggots.
Do they? I call them privates.
Come on, maggots. You want to live forever?
It was really nasty, man. So it says, I noticed the lady on the other end was doing something on the empty chair next to her, but I couldn't quite see. I peeked over again and saw that there were a couple of maggots on the chair, and she was trying to contain them and stop from falling off the chair. Oh, my God. But he said she remained remarkably calm. Not sure how. But here's the thing. Maggots, again, don't just appear. Somebody would have had to have had them in their bag.
Or something died.
And something was in their bag that it was feasting on. Well, that's exactly what it was, because when they found the bag, one man stood up and said, yep, that's mine. I got fish in there. So this guy, I guess, was toting around rotten fish in his bag. Why? I don't know.
I mean, why not?
And those started falling
each their
out.
own, bro.
That is the nastiest thing I have ever heard. Dick, I know your new truck is on its way, and we talk about it often. Have you seen or heard of this myth where the key fob, to unlock and lock the car, the distance can be enhanced by putting it underneath your chin? Have you ever tried this or heard of this? Yeah, it's actually real.
Real.
Yeah.
Duh. Well, you think my dad would do something stupid like that?
Do you do that? Do you practice that exercise where you put the key fob under your chin?
Well, it's like my third go-to. So, like, if I'm walking and I click it, and it works usually. But if the further I go, I'm like, oh, it's not working. And then so I do this, and then I do that.
Do you know why it works, though?
Probably something to do with science.
I suppose you're probably right.
Yeah.
Could boil it down to that. Oh, covered all your bases there, didn't you? Science, next story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it. Whatever.
No,
I just took a year off my life.
Right. Basically, the fluids inside of your head act as an antenna.
Can I tell you a side funny story about science and technology?
Oh my God, a side story about. Okay, yes, please.
So you know how when cell phones became really big, all of a sudden and there's all these articles about cell phone towers,
circa 2008 or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
something like that.
Okay.
And I remember I got a cell phone. And they're like, "Oh, it causes radiation. Like you can't have it. Like reading articles scare you." And I'm like, I don't really put on my ear most of the time. It's by my crotch because I'm in the car and I set it down. And I'm like,
I thought about this too. And it's in your pocket half the time.
Well, I'm talking about more. I was like, so
what's it doing?
My privates are getting radiation.
Frying your nuts.
I'm like,
yeah. Oh, I've thought about it. No doubt.
My God.
No doubt. Well, basically, the fluids inside of your head act as an antenna.
Isn't that cool?
Much like, if you remember, the old rabbit ears on top of a television, when you'd walk by, the reception might get better, or if you touched it, the reception would get better. Were you ever the victim of, stay right there, and not moving so that the reception, that happened to me as well, as the little brother that tended to be
I
what happened.
thought you were talking about something else.
What?
Like when farm to table kind of stuff.
No, bro. Okay. Rabbit ears reception on the.
I thought we were playing another game here.
All right,
different conversation.
Last story before the break. For the first time ever, 2 students received college, quote, athletic, unquote, scholarships for cornhole. This is where we're at now in America. But cornhole, 2 Colorado high schoolers, Jackson Remick and Gavin Hammond, have now committed to South Carolina to play for Winthrop University on a full-ride cornhole scholarship.
Yeah.
Are they jocks? Are they considered jocks?
They can do whatever they want, man.
So when you go to college with a scholarship for cornhole, do you still walk around like you're the cock of the walk there? And
why not?
That's
the
right,
corner
baby.
of the walk.
The corner of the walk, baby.
I see no problem with that. If that's what the schools want to prioritize doing,
You
whatever.
can brag about your eye-hand coordination. And at first I thought it might be 2 females because they have to give out a certain number of female scholarships to match the male, and they don't have football teams. So that's typically where you get those from. But no, these are 2 boys. So pretty interesting. Congratulations, boys. All right, when we come back, we are going to finally talk about gaslighting. Dick is so excited.
Your mic hasn't been on the entire time.
All right, well, I've just been literally an audience of 1 then.
That was the joke.
Hey there, audience of 1 listener. We hope that you're enjoying the show. And if you are, and you like what you're hearing, tell a friend. In fact, make it awkward and demand that they like and share the show. Do whatever you can to ensure that this little experiment we call Audience of 1 continues to thrive and prosper. And if you're interested in sponsoring or donating to the show, you can do that as well through our show page at irlonestar.com/AOO.
Audience of 1 here on Lone Star Community Radio every Wednesday at 10 o'clock. We are back with the second part of the show. Just want to remind folks you can sponsor or donate Audience of 1. To visit us online at the show website, irlonestar.com/IRL. And make sure to follow Lone Star Community Radio on YouTube and Facebook, and that's where we post the show. Also on podcasts, just look up Audience of 1 show on any podcast, whatever. I don't know where we put it. We're like that. We don't really know where we are. We just kind of show up at places.
It's kind of like the Dune 2 popcorn topper. Don't know where you put it.
I'm sitting on it.
Dick, if you could remove one thing from the planet, what would it be? And that's a kind of a tough question. If you like, I can go first. Because at first I thought...
Thing, right? Thing.
Anything.
Okay.
So at first I thought, well, I want to remove something like, mosquitoes or roaches or something that I hate or nasty. But then I thought about the consequences of removing something from the ecosystem, right? Because that's a meal for something else that becomes a meal for something else that eventually becomes a meal for me, right? So I thought, no, I don't want to do that as much as I hate mosquitoes and I hate roaches. What else could it possibly be? Then I thought, I'll do the altruistic thing and remove cancer, right? Let's remove child trafficking or something like that. But I thought, no, that's boring. That's boring. You have to have some of the good with the bad in this world. So I decided I want to remove sleeveless shirts for men. I don't think those are necessary. I don't understand the guy who puts the sleeveless shirt on in the morning, looks at himself in the mirror and goes, "Yep, this works."
Man, you got some issues with that.
I do, and because it's a fashion trend that bothers me.
Well, there's practicality to it.
Like what?
Like if you're working on a car.
Then have another 3 inches of material from your sleeve, bro. What? How does that work? How does that even affect you working
When
on a
you're
car?
reaching up and you're moving around, sometimes shirts get caught. Your sleeves cause a tightness. So
See, and I disagree.
When you do that, you have more freedom to move around. Especially that's why you see boxers and stuff do it.
They're practically naked.
When they're working out, they have more freedom in their arm movement. It's all about arm movement.
So
Now, if you're making a fashion statement going to Carrabba's with your cutoff,
yeah,
that's a bold move.
It is
and
a bold
I like
move.
it. I like people like that. It's kind of like people who, remember the Jinkos?
of course,
That's a bold move.
that is a bold move. That's a lot of.
So far beyond practicality. It's like, you know what I want to wear? I want to wear these pants that literally cover my shoes.
That have enough material
It's
for
a
3
tripping
pants.
hazard.
Yes, they have enough material for 3 pants.
Yeah, and I'm like, bold move. I
But
like
see,
it.
I don't like the underarms showing, the ones that have the long gaps
I
underneath
like it.
No,
I say go
no,
for
no,
it, man.
No, those
I
need
like
to
the
be eliminated.
V-necks are a little too V to it, like a capital V instead of like a lowercase V. I like it.
You see all the way down to their fake belly button.
I love
to
it.
make them look taller.
And there's
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it because it's not like a button up where you're like, oh, you forgot to button stuff. It's like, no, that's the way you bought that on purpose.
Uh-huh.
And
So I would remove those, though. I'm sorry. I think that people will still be able to live a fully functioning life without them, and I certainly would feel better about myself not having to witness that. There's nothing worse than walking around the grocery store and looking over and see a guy with his nasty armpit hair. That's just gross. Eliminate that. Eliminate it. What would you remove? It's a difficult question, I know.
I would remove smart people.
Okay.
Let's keep it simple. That's what I would do.
Then you could easily manipulate everyone. Wait, would you still remain?
No, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Would you still remain?
I'm not saying I'm smart.
Your
so
average,
I'm okay with it.
your average amount of intelligence, so that you're the smartest person.
I'm
around.
talking like we should just go back to being cavemen. It was a lot simpler at that time. Like, yeah.
You see somebody you want, you knock them over the head, you drag them back home. Yeah.
Well, no, not necessarily that way, but
I mean, that's pretty simple, ain't it?
yeah, keep it simple. That's what I
So
would do.
eliminate all
Intelligence.
smart people.
All intelligence is out the door. Let's get rid of it.
Audience of one.
I love it.
I think that's kind of what we've done on this show.
Or get rid of all the males. There's a fantasy for you.
There you go.
Me.
You would eliminate
Except me.
eliminate the males.
No,
Gender.
I'm just kidding. Now, if for practical reasons, what would you get rid of? War. Duh.
There you go. See, I thought about those too, but
Or
War's
you,
so
you reverse
cool, man.
psychology it and you said world peace. So we can just get over it. It's never going to happen. So we can move on and start killing.
stop worrying. Yeah, just stop
Just
worrying
start
about
going
it.
at it.
Yeah, we know this is never
So-
going to happen, guys. So let's just get on with it.
No.
I'll nuke you. You nuke
Trying to
me.
think. There is something like I know there's something that's practical that I would love to get rid of, and it probably has to do something with interacting with people in a sense of like
Small talk.
No,
I hate small
no,
talk. I'd
small
get rid of
talk is
small
great.
talk. No,
Small talk's
talk's
great.
the worst.
keeps you sharp.
No, see, you haven't
I'm
been
more.
in.
I'm trying to think what like it's more of, like for example the other day, the Apple Pay thing wasn't working right,
Okay.
and it was really annoying because and this is one thing I love about the bowling alley because I've encountered so many different people and so many new things coming to my life so far. That like the first person had a problem with Apple Pay. Well, of course, people with Apple Pay for some ridiculous reason don't carry the card on them.
Right. No. That's
Which
the
is
whole
ironic because the whole point is not to carry the card, but
That's
it's like,
exactly
hey,
right.
this doesn't work, but the card works. So it's something to
do with the Apple
Pay.
app. Yeah.
And so that was the first person. And then all of a sudden, by the end of the night, 14, 15 people were using Apple Pay. And I was like, this never happens here. We maybe have like 1 to 5, but it was like every single person. And of course, they don't have the card. And I'm like, this is so stupid. Why would you, like, me being me, I always carry cash, always carry my card, and then I have Apple Pay. So it's just in case something comes up. Because one of my buddies,
You're diversified.
yeah, well, my buddy and I got a little argument about it. My best friend, he's like, why do you carry so much cash? I was like, because you never know when you're going to need it. Especially if I'm in a place I don't know. Like when I go visit them, I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, I don't know how these people work. So what I love is the places that don't accept cash. And then their credit card machine goes down. That's what I love. And I'm sitting there, and it happened one time.
You dangle a $5 out in front
I'm
of them.
like, hey, I got cash. And everyone's like, oh, you got cash? I'm like, yeah.
A little President Lincoln up in their face. Man, look at this.
I got.
Who's laughing now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
there are some benefits.
I don't know where I'm going with that.
I don't know either, but it's fun to watch you get there.
Well, it's something like I wish that would be removed. I wish there was something easier to do transactions with. Like long-term transactions really drive me nuts.
Maybe they could invent some kind of electronic currency. Too bad, because they've eliminated all intelligence from the world, so that'll never happen now. Or you did, not they.
Or how about this? Computers never break or something stupid like that.
You can do whatever you want. That would eliminate the handyman or the repairman, sorry.
People dying. Let's eliminate that.
Everybody lives forever.
Yeah, everyone lives forever. We're all the Highlander. And finally, it really does become that fantasy of the movie. And it's not because you become more powerful. It's just like literally it's like we don't have no space, so we better start killing people off. Basically, what I'm trying to say, folks, is I have this fantasy that I just want to see carnage. And it's going to happen one day or another, one way or another.
And you know what's funny is you gave me crap about sleeveless shirts, and here you are creating scenarios in which there's massive carnage. And we're like at end of days scenario, and you're like, I love it. This is great. Wait, you said something about removing shirts without sleeves? No, that's terrible.
Well, people can do whatever they want. But I just like the idea because, that's the consequence of everyone living forever. Is eventually we got to go somewhere. There's not enough space, so we would get into a Highlander situation.
Yeah, sure.
Or we would get off this planet and just start, breeding like cats. So, or
on
rabbits.
Jupiter.
What are people,
cats, rabbits, whatever has a gestation period that's short.
Okay.
Okay, Dick, are you ready?
That was exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting.
That was a good beat.
I still don't even know what your answer was. All right.
I'll figure it out. Because it's like a monkey's paw thing, right? Like you get rid of something, there's a consequence to it.
A monkey's paw?
You ever heard that term?
I think no. I guess not.
If I remember correctly, it's like an old folk tale about this person finds a magic monkey's paw, and it gives you wishes. But there's always a consequence to the wish that's unintended.
Continue.
So it's like for example, I wish this person wouldn't speak to me. Or wouldn't talk anymore. Well, it turns out it covered their mouth and it killed them because they suffocated. So it's kind of like one of those things.
Sure, which is why I went with something that I thought would have no consequences except for benefiting all of mankind.
It's
removing sleeveless shirts for men.
Well, the bikers would disappear.
No,
Actually,
they'd find something
you
else
know what
to
would
wear.
Happen? I know exactly what would happen if we couldn't wear sleeveless shirts. There wouldn't be any more badasses around. And basically, we become soft men, and we wouldn't be able to show off our guns. Because if we don't show off our guns, we don't have a purpose.
Yeah, what kind of man are you if you can't show off your guns?
You're basically become a Barney bag. That didn't work.
No, not quite. All right, Dick, you are ready now for your gaslighting segment. Are you prepared?
All right, let me look up gaslighting.
I've got it all, bro. So basically, gaslighting is a form of abuse in which someone, your boyfriend or girlfriend, your boss, your best friend, uses manipulation and distraction to distort the truth and make you question your own reality.
Okay, so this is where there's certain terms in this world that I still don't see a purpose of using because it can encompass anything. It's very broad.
Correct.
So I feel like gaslighting fits under that. Because, to try to implement it, it's just like you can keep it simpler. Like, it's just called manipulating somebody. Like, you don't have to give a special way to manipulate. You're just manipulating somebody.
Well, it's a little bit more than that. It's a little more deep-seated
because the word reality can mean anything when it comes to situations. So it's like, if you're trying to convince me this color is blue, and you're trying to manipulate my life to, I've finally convinced me that it's blue, but reality, it's red. That's what gaslighting is.
An example of gaslighting in that situation would be you're holding an object that is blue. You know it's blue. And you say, this object is blue. And I say, no, it's not. You must be colorblind.
Yeah.
So then you start questioning yourself. You're going,
yeah, no, I get that.
Maybe I am. So it's very subtle
but you're just
to pick up on. Well, it's done with malice intent, right? It's done in order to manipulate somebody and have control over them. So I've got some examples of gaslighting, but when I read through them, I think just on their own are not necessarily gaslighting. It's the intent at which they were done. Okay, so for example, I never said that. You have a terrible memory. Now, that could be true. You may not have ever said something, and this person might actually have a terrible memory. But if you know they did, and you're manipulating them, you can just lie and say, I never said that. You have a terrible memory. And if you do this
So-
type stuff enough, the person starts to question whether or not
Yeah, no, I get that.
their own sanity.
So when you
Gaslighting.
get accused of gaslighting, you tell the accuser, back it up with proof.
Is that your retort?
Well, because it's kind of like it could be misguided, or because I feel like when you claim someone's gaslighting, you're basically saying like you're intentionally hurting me, and I'm like, no, I just think you're annoying. Like this is a real.
I can tell. Yes,
this is why the word gaslighting bothers me so much, because I remember having this conversation with a girl. I'm like, you using the term gaslighting doesn't make you in the right. It's not like like one of those cards you get. It's like, oh, I'm gonna pull out the gaslighting card.
It's a long-term game. I think that
and that's
people,
why I was like, prove it. Like,
narcissists, I think, tend to implement these techniques quite often.
Well, I mean, I like the idea of gaslighting.
I bet you do.
I do, and because it's
in for the long haul, are you?
Well, I mean, like if it's a tool to get what I want, I'm going to do it.
Absolutely.
I'm going to use it.
Well, another example. This is you're too sensitive. Again, a person might actually be too sensitive, but in this case, if they're not, and you continually tell someone, they might start to believe that they are, that their feelings are not valid. I like this one. You need to lose weight. Well, now, if someone is overweight and it is a problem for their health, perhaps they do, but you could just be saying this to make them self-conscious. It's all about control, Dick. This is that gaslighting manipulation. Your friends are idiots. Love that one. And this one, I'm sure that you've heard this one quite a bit, so I'm sorry if this hits a little too close to home. You're frigid and bad in bed.
Yeah. Barney bag. No, I mean, because I feel like that term isn't, because I always like terms that you could use in a court of law, because that to me gives it more of a foundation, more meaning to it. But if someone says you're gaslighting me.
Yeah, it's very ambiguous. It's hard to identify, like I said, and there's no hard and fast rules to it.
So, because I had that conversation, someone said like you're gaslighting me, and I was like, no, I don't like you, and I think you're annoying.
How about this one? If you really loved me, you would.
Yeah.
Fill in the blank. I'm not angry. What are you talking about? You ever done that in a conversation with someone? You just get really, really calm while they get angry. All it does is make them get more angry.
From what I understand,
what are you so angry
gaslighting
about?
is all about intent.
Yes.
So there you go. It's stupid. That's a stupid term. If anyone calls me like, "Hey, you're gaslighting me," I'm like, "No."
How about this one? It's your fault I cheated. Oh, good God!
Yeah. I've never been told that. Have you ever been told that?
No. Thank goodness. I have not. I like this. No one else would ever love you. Ooh, that's the controlling one there. That one, to me, seems a little bit more obvious. You say that to a person, you're trying to control them and such that they may not be in a good position in the relationship, but they're like, well, maybe he's right. No one else will really love me, so I have to stay.
Never been told that either.
No? Okay. I think you're lying.
No, I never really had a relationship with anybody that like would quote gaslight me to stay in the relationship as friends, family or whatever. I think that's kind of weird.
Well, this says more than 43 million women and 38 million men will experience some mental or emotional abuse by a partner, either intimate or otherwise, according to the Centers for Disease Control. Gaslighting is one of several forms of this type of emotional abuse. I
love it. Okay, now I've learned. I'm an expert now.
That was just for you, buddy.
Now I have to come up with a way to use it on you.
Oh, I believe you do it all the time.
But I don't do it intentionally.
I leave here going, I'm such a terrible broadcaster.
Well, see, that's unfair. I would never claim that you are a broadcaster.
He thinks I have a stick up my butt.
Yeah. Well, I meant more so I can hold it up.
He thinks our listeners have fangs.
Yeah, no, I want.
You want to hold it up?
So I can hold it up like.
Nice save.
I'm Andrew.
See, and now you're making me feel bad that I went to the bad spot. Right? See, gaslighting.
There you go, man. I love
Dick,
it.
do you know the difference between a fear and a phobia?
I feel like a phobia is an actual clinical thing, meaning like your reaction causes the phobia causes a reaction in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you're scared of snakes, the phobia, like, you ever heard of that phobia of the hole phobia?
The half phobia and only the phobia?
No, like, it's about holes.
Okay, continue.
So, it's a weird phenomenon where, like, it's the way holes are aligned, like holes, like circles.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like certain things make your brain afraid of it. like uncomfortable. It makes you feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
Let me look it up.
That would probably
I want to
be
show you.
a phobia. By the way, we talked about digging holes a couple of weeks ago, and I said children are fascinated by it. I did hear a story where there were 2 children on the beach digging a hole, a large hole.
So I found it.
It caved in and killed the small child because it caved in and she suffocated.
Oh, yeah.
That is a fear, certainly. I always have.
Yeah, so it's called tryphobia.
Okay, that's a phobia.
So you want to see it? You want to see what I'm talking about?
I don't know. I'm kind of scared.
So it's like this stuff.
All right, for our listening audience. Oh, that just looks like skin issues, skin disease.
Well, no, it's just in nature. Here, I'm going to pull it up for the...
Okay, just holes. Oh, you're scared of that pattern
You're scared,
of some sort?
yeah, it's a pattern thing.
Okay.
And
that's definitely a phobia. So it's kind of along the same lines.
But does it make you feel uncomfortable when you see stuff like this?
No, because I'm normal.
So
according to mentalfloss.com, the American Psychological Association defines fear as a basic, intense emotion.
Now I feel scared.
A basic, intense emotion aroused by the detection of an imminent fear, involving an immediate alarm or reaction that mobilizes an organism by triggering blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's a fear. Pretty basic. But a phobia, meanwhile, is a persistent and irrational fear of a specific situation, object, or activity, which is consequently either strenuously avoided or endured with marked distress. So really, the phobia, you're really not in any... So for instance, this is the way it was always been described to me, is I have a fear of snakes. And they say, oh, have you been bitten by a snake? Well, no. Well, then you just have a phobia of them. Because they're really... You've never been in a situation where a snake can hurt you. You've never been bitten by one, yet you're scared of them, and you live your life in fear. That's actually a phobia, because you have this persistent feeling that, oh my God, a snake might get me, and they scare me. But in reality, they pose no threat to you, right? So that's the difference there.
I'm pretty sure they pose a threat to
I have
everybody.
a phobia of this studio coming in and do the show with you. I think, oh my God, it just persists with me every day.
Yeah, my phobia is when I look in the mirror and I see you, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to see Andrew
Basically,
anymore.
when you have a phobia of something, you experience
Andrew.
a psycho. Oh,
and
man.
then I immediately check my butt crack.
What?
For the stick.
Oh, right. You experience a psychological fear response to even when there is no real danger present.
I like it. I mean, it sounds a little bit more of like Mr. Details over here, but...
So do you have a phobia? Or we all fear certain things, but
holes.
Phobia. Did that start to freak you out there?
It freaks me out, but that's also me looking at it. Like, I don't really search it out. No, I mean, the only phobia, I don't know.
Mine would be heights.
So, like,
remember
I was telling
although
you.
people say it's a fear of heights, really, it's more of a phobia, I would think, in this situation,
remember
right?
I told you I recently went to Six
Maybe not.
Flags.
Maybe that is a fear. Yes,
and
and you got in
like,
for free. You got away from your parents and ran in, and they found you
No.
sucking on cotton candy.
This is on New Year's Eve.
Oh, okay.
We went up there to Six Flags. This is recent. This is the last New Year's. And I love roller coasters.
Mm-hmm. So you've said.
And I rode the slow one that's like a swing. You go really high up and you just kind of go around in the circle.
Mm-hmm.
I actually started getting anxiety being up there because it was so high.
Yep.
And
I've been on that ride before.
I've always been and what's funny, that was the first ride we went on. And I remember telling my buddy, I was like, something happened out there, dude. Like, I got scared. Like, I would literally clench and my palms were sweaty. I was like, I don't know what happened. But then, of course,
spaghetti.
Of course, I can ride every other ride after that. Like, the greatest time in the world. The scariest ones. Like, the drops, the ups and downs. Like, doing all this kind of stuff.
That particular one
that
did it for
particular
you.
ride, got me freaked out.
So there you go.
So is that a phobia? Of heights? I don't know, because I was really high on other ones, but we were going real fast. I think that one freaks me out because we're going so slow, and I was in this rinky-dink seat.
Yeah, that's part of it.
And I'm like looking down, I'm like, yeah, if I
know the guy running it's on meth, that never helps. Yeah. Well, this one's kind of interesting. I'm not a fan of...
Maybe I should have been on meth while going on it.
Yeah, oh boy. I'm not a fan of elevators, but I don't think I have a fear or a phobia of them, but apparently that is a pretty popular one. And the fear of elevators is called, I love this, elevatophobia.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting because it's more of a combination between claustrophobia and agoraphobia, to be precise. Basically, it's more of the intense fear that you have from being in an enclosed space, not enclosed space. So when you think about an elevator, it's pretty enclosed and you can't easily get out, more so than the height. But I don't know. I'm just always afraid one of them suckers is going to drop. So maybe that's my phobia.
Okay, sounds interesting. I guess.
Yeah. So, Dick, have you heard of the Tibetan sky burial?
Yeah.
I mentioned this to you the other day. It's pretty interesting. I'm not sure this is one of the ways I would want to go, but Tibetan Buddhists have several distinct burial practices that connect them to the 4 tantric elements of earth, water, fire, and air. So obviously the sky burial would be the air part of that element, tantric element. What's tantric mean, by the way?
I don't know.
Wasn't Sting tantric at one point?
Sting?
I think the Bare Naked Ladies told me that. The singer
singer?
Sting, yeah. I think the Bare Naked Ladies told me
Who
that.
are the Bare Naked Ladies?
A band. You know, oh my God, do you live
Okay.
under a rock?
I'm gaslighting you
Anyways,
right
the
now.
Buddhist sky burial is obviously, like I said, the one that's tied to the element of air, but this is where bodies are left out in the open air for vultures to
Yeah, I
come
like it.
and consume them and pick them up, drop them in areas, eat them. That is nasty. Because if you've seen vultures eating animals on the side
But
of
it's
the
not
road,
like it's out in their backyard.
yeah, but still,
They take them to a high,
They
like
do.
a certain spot.
They do.
To feed the birds.
correct.
So, I see no problem.
Yeah,
with
I was
this.
just about to ask you, but I already know the answer. I've been doing this show long enough with you. You'd be like, yeah, I don't care. Would
I
you
think
want?
what's
Would you want a
worse-
Tibetan sky burial? And you're gonna be like, I don't care. I'm dead. I don't care.
Yeah, well, no, the scary one is the Eskimo thing.
Put me in an
I don't
AOO
know-
shirt. I don't
I don't
care.
even know if that's even real. The Eskimo thing, where they like put you on a piece of ice and they just send you
Send
off.
you out?
Like, because you're alive during that.
What?
That's what I've understood. It's like you're old.
That's not a burial. Oh, that's just sending.
Well, no, it's
grandpa off.
considered. It's considered a burial.
Is that what they do for people who are walking too slow in the aisle in the grocery aisle? And they're
Ah,
like, all right,
shoot.
that's it. Out on the piece of ice. Out you go.
No, what you do with that is you just give them COVID.
Oh my God. And ship them out on the thing of ice.
and then it's like, all right. No, I think it's a cool way to go. I think Viking the way is the coolest. That's always been kind of like a dream of mine.
Yes.
Is if I did die, what I would do is I would put in like the request how to do it is you put me in the boat and put the Kindle or whatever the stuff you want to light me on fire with. Send me out.
Kindling. Yes,
Kindling.
not Kindle. That's a
Yeah.
digital reader.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would do
Continue.
that. But everyone
You're doing great. You're doing great.
everyone at the funeral would have to take a shot with the flaming arrow.
Awesome.
So what I love about
It's
this,
actually that'd be kind of fun. It's an interactive.
It's interactive.
It's a good time for everyone.
and what I love about it is how long do you think it would take for someone to actually hit the boat? Because I want to put it far enough to where it's difficult, but close enough where it's doable.
But I think we should combine the last two things you did. You would be alive during that, right? So you'd be like, missed.
No, I'd rather-
and then finally, poof,
No.
and somebody hits
See,
you.
like what I would do though is I would have that, and little do they know, I would put some like TNT at the bottom of the boat. So when it finally burnt and everyone's crying,
Kaboom.
everyone's like, "We got it!" After like 50 tries of trying to burn my body, it would blow up.
See, I like my idea, though, where you're alive, they're shooting fire at you, but they only have a limited number of fire sticks or whatever, arrows, right?
Yeah.
And when they run out, you come back and you're like, wow, you guys almost
No.
got me, but I'm
No,
back.
the only way
I'm back, bitches.
The only way I would do that is if I survived it, I get to shoot
Them.
them.
And how awkward would it be, though, at that point? You're like,
Yeah, I hit my mom in the face.
No, you're like, you literally tried. Remember, you tried to kill me a few minutes ago? Kind of crazy.
No, I don't.
But I'm back here.
I don't
I'm
follow
back.
that. No, I think the Viking is a great way to go. Especially, I just love the idea of all my friends and family who have probably never, like maybe 2 of my friends have taken archery. I only have one friend that actually uses a bow frequently. But it's like, just
So you feel pretty safe. Like,
but,
"They ain't gonna
but
get me."
everyone's taking turns though, so it's not like, hey, let's let the best guy go, just keep going. But it's like everyone lines up, shoots the arrow.
You know,
Next-
grandma goes,
Yeah.
just real short.
Yeah.
Like, terrible.
I think it'd be great. I think that'd be the funniest thing ever.
Be a good business to start. Be Dick's Viking burials.
The coolest thing about that
You got a
too
boat.
is on the off season. Mm-hmm.
Off season. People are down all the time.
Yeah,
there is
no,
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 off season.
no.
Again, part
On-
of the genius.
No, on the off season we can do scuba diving, and you get to see all the bodies.
Oh, God. Oh, so you're going to do it in the same lake over and over again?
yeah,
Guess you just have your own, just put it on the estate behind the house.
dude. And then what's great about that, after like 30 years of doing that, is any buildings on the lake, we can say it's a haunted lake.
Absolutely. Now you've got the business that keeps going. It's the gift that keeps giving.
So
now you can do ghost tours
that's
afterwards.
Three income sources.
Right. Viking burials during the day, ghost tours at night.
Yeah, and scuba diving,
Right. Okay, I forgot about the scuba diving.
or that could just be a perk of the ghost tour.
Right. That's for $15
not
extra.
everyone, because can you even go scuba diving anymore? Like just willy nilly, or don't you?
No, you have to have a license. You
Yeah.
have to have a license.
So like,
I mean, you can, but
you can
not
go
legally.
snorkeling.
Yeah.
Which to me seems more dangerous.
Right. Have you ever sucked the water in?
Yeah, for an inexperienced person. But no, I've been scuba diving before. That's why I was wondering, because we went. I took scuba diving classes when I was like 10, and I scuba dived every summer for like 5 years.
That's an awesome story.
But I would never go scuba diving again.
No.
Actually, that's a fear.
There it is.
I've been in the water, and if I'm 15 feet under the water, I do not want to be there.
Yeah, it's kind of freaky.
I would say I have a deep fear of the ocean.
Okay, there you go. Fear of the ocean.
But like I can scuba dive all day in a pool.
Yeah,
in the
and I've
ocean-
done that before too. It's kind of fun.
Because I've done it in the ocean.
You can see.
And I had like, I don't know what it was. I think what it was like an eel wrapped around me, and it freaked me out. And I was like, anything can just grab you. I don't want to do this. I'm not doing this. This is unnatural. I'm not in control underwater. So I don't like it. Especially as like sharks there. I saw a shark, because this is not a big shark, but it still freaks me out that it's kind of like when you look at it like a flat piece of grass, but the earth still curves. So anything could be over there. So like I'm sitting there in the ocean and I'm looking just vast ocean. I'm like, anything could be coming from there, and it's moving 30 times faster than me. There's no way I want to survive. I can't survive here. So I don't want to be in it. I don't want to have any problem.
I agree. And they're significantly faster than you are in the water, even if you do have fins. Fins. All right, quick hit here at the end of the show. Your President Biden, who is now 81 years old, says the key to his marriage is good sex.
He said that?
Yeah. He was recently quoted as saying that.
Creepo.
Yeah, kind of weird. I don't know that I've ever heard a president talk about sex outside of like Bill Clinton.
You know what that means, though?
That means they're having relations.
No, that means after relations, he has a survey.
Asks her. What? Wait. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because it'd be selfish to say that was good and not have input from the wife. So you have to ask.
Yeah, it's true. It was good for me. And she's like, oh, sure.
Sure.
Of course.
And that's like the ongoing joke is females always fake it. So maybe Bill, what's his name? Joe might be a little delusional with it.
Well,
unless she's signing off going like, yeah, he checks every time, and I signed a piece of paper that I'm not lying.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's interesting. This is the guy who thought he was talking to somebody who had been dead for 20 years, and I'm wondering, as we know, he's suffering a little bit mentally these days.
Who isn't?
Right, this is true. That perhaps he's not all there and thinks he might be getting a bevy of different women, and that's why he thinks it's so good all these years. And Jill's like, no, this is terrible. But he has no idea.
No, I think he has an ego. I mean,
you have to have an ego to run for president.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I love the idea when someone says that. It's like, well, that means you've either gotten input or you're just thinking you're good.
Yeah, well,
because that's an ongoing joke between couples. It's like, they always give two different answers in a way,
They can, depending on the subject.
Well, no, the sex question, that's always like, is it good? And like the guy, of course, is like, yeah,
it's awesome.
And the girl's like, well, I mean, yeah, sure.
Maybe in your relationships. All right, that
my
is
relationship,
all
I was the
we
best.
have time for this week, everybody. Dick, it was a fun show. As always, I love doing radio with you, man. Whoop. Oh, we're doing this show intro or
is this not
outro.
it?
No, but that's okay, I suppose. Oh, we're gonna fix it. We're consummate professionals.
Jesus.
All right, there it is.
Audience of one, thanks for tuning in. We'll be here next Wednesday at our normal time, 10 a.m. for YouTube, Lone Star Community Radio, Facebook, and of course our podcast. Just look up Audience of One Show. We got some great things coming your way. I think we have Petty Eddie coming back on
Potentially
pretty soon.
Yeah.
I want to talk about food, but yeah, Andrew, it's good to see you.
Yeah, and I apologize, onesies, for this show. That's all. Bye bye.